can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, lots of football stories heading your way. What led to the sudden sacking of Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag, who is set to take over? All the drama from one of the most torrid seasons a club has ever had. Over at the Ballon d'Or, drama explodes across social media. Real Madrid boycotts the awards night, say they stand by their player Vinicius Jr. and feel he was the rightful winner. Were they right in their stand? How is the Ballon d'Or winner decided? All details up ahead. And Afghanistan A side, the junior side, clinches the emerging Asia Cup title. Is this victory enough to pick up the pieces as the cricketing country fights against being the pariahs? But first, a look at the headlines. We'll start with cricket. The venue to host cricket at the 2028 Olympics has been moved out of Los Angeles. The likely venue will be along the East Coast in the United States. The decision is being made to align the broadcast timing of the matches with the Indian Standard Time so that the South Asian cricket fans, the die-hard cricket fans, can catch the action. Over in tennis, world number one Jannik Sinner has withdrawn from Paris Masters. This due to an intestinal viral contracted before his arrival in the city. The tournament is underway and Sinner was set to play his match tomorrow. The world number one will now be replaced by unseeded Arthur Cazorla. Continuing with tennis, Rafael Nadal's Mallorca Tennis Academy is in disarray after the island was hit by a massive storm. The courts were flooded, but the club confirmed that all the staff and players were safe. The academy is working towards restoring the facility. Miami Heat icon Dwayne Wade's newly unveiled statue has sparked online backlash. Many believe the statue's face does not resemble Dwayne Wade. NBA legend Paul Pierce said Wade's statue needed a redo. Wade, though, has been a bit of a sport about this and has urged fans to click pictures with the statue. And we'll sum it up with news from NBA. LeBron James's LA Lakers suffered a narrow defeat against Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant's 30 points helped Suns score 109. LeBron, on the other hand, had a forgetful outing with only 11 points during the game. In the end, Lakers fell short by 4 points. Now, the Ballon d'Or ceremony in Paris concluded with Spain dominating all categories. For the first time in 2 decades, the event took place without two legendary footballers still playing, but whose absence was felt, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So obviously, the competition was bound to be intense. But the intensity did not come from players vying for top honors. It came from a whole club deciding to boycott the awards ceremony. The most controversial award of the night was the men's Ballon d'Or. Spanish midfielder Rodri took home the prestigious prize, but not without drama. Let me tell you all that happened now. Before the Ballon d'Or event took place in Paris, the winner's name somehow leaked out, and it was confirmed that Vinicius Jr. was not going to be winning the trophy. A furious Madrid camp decided the ceremony did not require their presence. And it wasn't just Real Madrid who were hurt by this decision. It led to a bit of a stormy debate on social media. Everyone jumped right in as the matter gathered heat. And as many more started waking up around the world, the discussion only became more fierce. A club as big as Real Madrid boycotting the biggest footballing awards night was bound to generate drama and have an impact the world over, because this is not just any club, it's Real Madrid, one of the most prestigious clubs in football world. And what's interesting to note here is that Real Madrid ended up winning the award for the best club of the year. Their manager, Carlo Ancelotti, in fact bagged the award for the best manager of the year. And yet this club, every single person in this club, from the player to management to support staff, decided not to go, stood by Vinicius Jr. and boycotted the awards event. Just like many of their fans and their reactions that we showed you just a while back, the club too truly thought that Vinicius was robbed of the award, that he was the rightful recipient of the Ballon d'Or. Everyone truly believed that. It was only a matter of time until the Brazilian had, in fact, laid his hands on the coveted, much-desired trophy.
Vinicius has done a nice performance previous year. He is the reason that we got actually the Champions League, and there is no doubt by 28 of this month he's gonna get his first Ballon d'Or, La Châtelet, France. I'm quite sure that he's gonna win it because he deserves it.
That was the buzz right before all of the awards night happened and the announcements were made. So given the hype for the 24-year-old, the anguish and anger among fans and the club after this announcement was made was of course evident. This was an emotional setback for many. None felt more gutted than the player himself, but obviously Vinicius, who made his feelings pretty clear after Rodri lifted that award. He says he will do it 10 times over if he has to, as they are not ready. Could be a normal story on a usual day, but many felt this post was probably a defiant reference to his ongoing efforts to challenge racism in football and the constant resistance that he seems to be experiencing just about everywhere, including gifting him an award he thought he deserved. Sources close to Vinicius feel the fight against racism may have cost him the prestigious award. But could that really be the reason? For that, we need to know a little more about how the Ballon d'Or winner is judged. Now, an international jury of specialized journalists award Ballon d'Or honors every year. There is one representative from each nation that makes up the top 100 ranked FIFA countries. From the 30 nominees, the journalists then select their top 10 according to their subjective preferences. They then award points from 1 to 15 to each of these players. The highest ranked athlete wins. And it's not just a journalist's personal choice that is considered. There are parameters on which the panel decides the winner. From individual performance, that is down to the goals scored, the assists made, or goals saved depending upon the player's role, to impact on the team. What is his or her relevance and importance in that setup? Did his or her performances result in their side winning a tournament? These are some key and exhaustive parameters that are considered while awarding points. This is how the Ballon d'Or winner is finalized. It is indeed a very comprehensive process, which brings me to the next point. How did Vinicius and Rodri fare through the season? Let's take a look at that. What worked for Rodri was his international success. The Spaniard won the Euros title, massive, and was the player of the tournament. He made an impact with his national side, whereas Vinicius failed to do that for Brazil. They were knocked out of the quarterfinals in Copa America. In club competitions, though, Vinicius had the upper hand as he took Real Madrid to Champions League glory and was also the player of the tournament, whereas Rodri's Manchester City were knocked out in the quarterfinal by none other than Real Madrid. In domestic competitions, both won the league title. So just talking purely numbers here, I will have to admit this fight was a close one. It's not like Rodri came out of the blue. He too was a nominee who helped his club and country to silverwares. One main reason to this backlash could be the fact that Rodri is a defensive midfielder, whereas Vinicius is a forward. Which brings me to the age-old long debate of forwards' influence getting more recognition than that of a midfielder, that to a defensive one. Because Vinicius through the year has scored goals, which has led to Madrid's wins. On the other hand, Rodri was a rather silent contributor. Reasons enough for many to question this final outcome. Look, an awards night is just that. A group of people trying to do justice to players' hard work and toil through the year. Vinicius, in his place, is right to feel wronged, but he was key. He was instrumental in making Real Madrid win the award for the best club of the year, and maybe we could leave it at that. You, though, can leave your comments on which side of this heated debate you find yourselves on. Afghanistan is slowly trying to strengthen a cricketing system that has been dealt one blow after the next for years now. After the success of the senior men's cricket team, the Afghanistan A side has created history by clinching the emerging Asia Cup title, beating Sri Lanka in the final. But the road has been arduous and problematic. The Taliban regime that took over some years back have been trying their best to push sport to the periphery. The women's cricket team, for instance, is pretty much non-existent now. So the pressure to bring some respite and respectability to a war-torn country has, of course, fallen on the shoulders of the male counterparts. The Afghanistan junior team did just that. Their memorable win in Oman sparked off celebrations back home. Here was a bunch of young boys with zero international cricket, no facilities to properly train under, no stadiums to practice in consistently, no form of exposure, however, beating strong opponents, including tournament favourites India in the semi-final, to seal a huge win for their country. In fact, they come from the domestic structure in the country. Some of the top performers at the emerging Asia Cup have excelled in just a few tournaments that is being held, like the Kosh Tepa National T20 Tournament and the Sfagiza Cricket League. So who were some of the star campaigners who scripted a historic win for Afghanistan? The star of this team, in fact, has been Sadiq Atal, the player of the tournament. He was flawless through the campaign, raked up close to 400 runs and scored 5 half-centuries as the opener. He was key for this triumph. A.M. Ghazanfar, a finger spinner who was sensational with the new ball. He kept things in check and got his team the occasional wickets too. Giving company to Atal was Zubaid Akbari, opener with 2 half-centuries, who was also crucial in helping put that pressure on the opposition at the start. 2 more players to round this off. The fast bowler who starred in this triumph, in this campaign, Bilal Sami, who also in fact chipped in with the bat occasionally. He played a crucial role in their triumph. And how can I speak about an Afghan team and not mention an all-rounder? Kareem Jannat was the most experienced of the lot. He was outstanding in that middle order, contributed when it mattered the most, especially in those knockouts, the semi-final and the final, to give Afghanistan this massive emotional win. But these are still largely inexperienced cricketers who've not had the kind of exposure that their travelling journeyman seniors like Rashid Khan, Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Mohammad Nabi or Mujib-ur-Rahman have had. Very few of them got opportunities to interact with these players. What I have heard from within the setup is that a few were fortunate enough to work with someone like Rashid Khan, trained with him in the national team, so clearly they got to learn from one of the best the country has produced. No wonder many of the senior Afghan cricketers were the first to respond after this win, thrilled to see their juniors start on the path they walked on. Some beautiful pictures there, but the last 1 year in particular has seen this country and its cricket oscillate between immense joy and dejection. They won hearts wherever they played because with them came the exciting prospect of fearless cricket. They played with all their heart and no result in sight, which gave birth to scintillating cricket. They punched above their weight in the ODI World Cup in India last year, sealing some unbelievable wins to generate that excitement. And at the T20 World Cup some months ago, they made it to the semi-final, a first and a milestone moment for them and the country. But the year has also seen the Afghanistan cricket team being treated like pariahs, Top-flight cricket sides like Australia refused to play against them because of the Taliban disbanding the women's cricket team. And that has definitely caused a dent to their campaign and their stories. In fact, especially to their story as cricketing country on the rise. But maybe this young team that's achieved the near impossible, winning the emerging Asia Cup title, who showed the world they had what it takes to beat some of the best, will strive to change that narrative about their country. Manchester United have sacked Erik Ten Hag after a series of poor results. The seemingly long rope that the Dutchman had been enjoying cut. And at the middle of the season, that too. The decision came after United's 1-2 loss to West Ham at the London Stadium. Now, the defeat meant the club dropped down further to the 14th position in the points table at the Premier League. Club legend and assistant manager Ruud van Nistelrooy will take over the duties in an interim basis. And given the stature of United, several big names have already been linked to this job. But before we go there, let's talk about what led to Ten Hag's sacking in the first place. Did the fans play a bit of a role in it? Many felt a sacking was around the corner.
Yeah, I think it was time, to be honest. I do feel for him a little bit, but performances just haven't been good enough.
I'm very glad that he's been sacked because we've been performing below par for a lengthy of time, and I think it's about time that we need like fresh energy, a new perspective, and new ideas.
Now, given how United was performing throughout the season, it was always going to be the case of when and not if. With every loss or every draw, Ten Hag was inching closer to losing that job, though mid-season is pretty sudden even for a club like Manchester United. It's true that a club steeped in legacy with all its investments and a massive fan base would want nothing less than a top 3 finish. But in Ten Hag's era, United's fortunes have swung the other way. The club is competing for a bottom 3 finish. They are closer to the relegation zone than to a top 3 finish. But the important point to note is what Ten Hag kept saying despite the horrible slump Man United were continuously finding themselves in. He was defiant and believed that the United management had his back, that it was a process that they were working on. After every loss, every draw, Ten Hag stayed obstinate and confident about his methods and his place in the club, which made many believe that the United management would back the Dutchman at least till the end of this season. Because even after the West Ham defeat, Ten Hag blamed VAR rather than his own approach or his team.
In football, the best team does not always win. That was clear and obvious, but the way VAR worked was not clear and obvious. What they didn't do against Spurs when they should have interfered on Bruno's red card, and now they make the wrong decision interfering, both have a big impact on the games. I don't criticize any person. I criticize the process.
Now, I understand a manager considering his team the greatest. But during the Manchester United and West Ham match, United clearly weren't the better team. Even if Ten Hag thought so. They missed chances they created, but failed to score from. If they have anyone to blame for this loss, it is themselves. To think that just a game ago in Europa League, the very same Erik Ten Hag was boasting of having secured a draw against Fenerbahce.
From 2 tough away games, Porto and Fenerbahce, we take 2 points, which is a result. We have good players, we have a good manager, so it's never easy, but we take a point, and when you take a point, as I said, and in Porto and in Fenerbahce, that's not bad.
Clearly, Ten Hag failed to realize that this club doesn't thrive on draws or securing 1 point. This is a club that wants to win trophies, wants to build on a legacy that has been established for decades. And given how Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City are staying unbeaten in the past 3 seasons, for United to put up a fight for the title, they have to win every match, maybe draw a few. But with Ten Hag at the helm, it was draw more and win less. Maybe the management wanted to give Ten Hag a few chances, but the anger towards Ten Hag was rising, and the club probably had to act fast, because up until the West Ham game, it did not look like the sacking was around the corner. A big decision like this always comes with a bit of a hint, as was with the case of Ralf Rangnick, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and even Jose Mourinho. There was always an indication that these guys were going to be shown the door. But with Ten Hag, it was all too sudden. And going by the chatter that we are hearing, it is believed that Ten Hag was quite calm through it all, in the sense that the sacking was very smooth, no bad blood between the management and Ten Hag supposedly. Maybe the West Ham game was the last nail in the coffin. So what next then for Manchester United? Given Ruud van Nistelrooy is leading United, will he be a permanent face? Because even before Ten Hag was sacked, Ruud van Nistelrooy was reportedly hesitant of stepping into a role of Manchester United's permanent manager. So needless to say, many big names have been floated around the club. The biggest ones doing the rounds are Gareth Southgate, yes, who recently managed England. The second is that of former Chelsea boss Graham Potter, the current Inter Milan manager Simone Inzaghi, and out-of-job Harvey are some of the names that round off. But the strongest contender of all this seems to be Ruben Amorim, who is currently the head coach of Sporting. With a win percentage of 71%, Amorim is heavily linked to taking up this role. Reports also suggest that Amorim is in discussion with United's top brasses already. And let's face it, he comes with a reputation. Before United, the same manager was favoured to replace Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool's manager in the summer. And how can we forget the time when Sporting's biggest transfer move to United happened? It was in 2003 and was the biggest talking point in United's history. That was Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, who won everything at United after moving over. Maybe with this managerial move, the United management is hoping for a similar revival. Time for Last Serve. Indian pop icon Diljit Dosanjh was in the capital city for a concert that left many spellbound, but athletes have been left speechless, more so, after the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium was found in shambles post the concert. Many are fuming over the litter and damage done to the property after the concert. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. Do join in again tomorrow, but for now, take care. Bye-bye.